You played for the bad boy Pistons, you played for Jordan's Bulls, you played for the Shaq and Kobe Lakers. Would you want Draymond as a teammate?
I would take him every day and twice on Sundays. Let me tell you, when you have Draymond, you got energy. Now, people may sit there and say, well, he caused them a problem. He didn't cause them a problem. He is the energy. And when you got that kind of energy, you won on the time. I played with Bill Laimbeer, and he would yell at the refs and point to the refs, and everyone called him a crybaby. But Bill would say, you know what, I'm going to take all the bullets. You guys give me all the bullets, I'll take all that pressure, and all that energy from the referees are now on alert. Because these referees aren't always doing their job. I called yesterday and talked to the producer when I saw literally them call a foul. And when you get the replay, you see there was no foul. The referee just felt like, looked like a foul. I felt like calling a foul.
You're talking about in the Sacramento game?
Yeah, the Sacramento. It's ridiculous when they do that.
Let's look at what you're talking about. Yeah. This is early in the fourth quarter, about 9 minutes to go. You're talking about where it looked like Draymond flopped?
Right.
Yeah, okay. So
it looked like he flopped, but he did get hit in the face.
All right. He did take one little bash there, and then he goes down. I thought he flopped after that. Okay, he does take a shoulder, but then he goes down.
Yeah.
And he will not lay off the referee. He goes after him, and he is relentless. There we go. And you know and I know, at some point, a line cannot be crossed with the referee.
But that's the problem. The referee gets to the point, and I think the NBA is doing it because they don't want to show insubordination in China. They think it's a crazy thing, but then they throw in text when they feel dissed or they feel disrespected.
Okay, then you see the tech that happened the next possession. Okay, so it's the next time down the floor, and Draymond is exaggeratedly he palmed it, he carried it.
Well, he's not even talking to the referee, and the referee threw the tech. I'm just telling you, you asked, would I want Draymond on my squad? I would want Draymond needs to be on every squad. And I tell you this, those guys have to realize that they have an enforcer, and if that enforcer wasn't there, we would not be talking about the Golden State Warriors. He is the energy of that team.
All right, Richard, would you want Draymond as a teammate?
No question, because he rides for his teammates, and that's the best kind of teammate you can ask for. He's a guy that understands his strengths, his weaknesses. He is not under any kind of delusion of his talents and his NBA IQ and where he stands in his lineup. He's not sitting there jacking up 10, 15 threes because he's on the Golden State Warrior. He knows his exact role is to protect his guys, to play great defense, to be a great leader, and if push comes to shove and a situation breaks out, he's the one to come defend his guys. Steph Curry is not the biggest guy in the world. He's not LeBron James at 6'8", 270 and can just be menacing. He's pretty slight. So, guys will use that against him. Guys will bump and shove and do extra stuff. And if you don't have an enforcer, guys are going to do that week in and week out. But they do have Draymond Green. He's not standing for that. He's not standing for Rudy Gobert grabbing Klay Thompson at all, regardless of the situation, regardless of what's going on. You don't grab my teammate. And I think that gives his teammates confidence because they know they got this guy behind them. If anything breaks out, they know, hey, he not Debo Samuel, but he going to get the job done.
I love when he grabbed Gobert about it. That was a headlock. If anybody wants to learn how to do a headlock, that was a headlock. And think about it. He went and grabbed him in a headlock, and everybody, even on the show, they were like, he crossed the line. Let me tell you, the line was crossed when he was holding on to Klay. And you can't have one of the Splash Brothers just sitting there with a 7-foot guy from France trying to put you in a headlock. You never know what's going on there. I think he did, and he always does. It may seem like not the right thing, but anything that can get you not to think about basketball while he knows his guys are thinking about basketball, it usually works. Last night it didn't work, but it usually works when you have somebody taking all the shots.
Okay, I hear what both of you just said, and there were times in Draymond's career when I vehemently agreed with what you said.
Yeah.
But it feels like you're talking about Draymond of 2 or 3 years ago, because over the last couple of years, there are many times he's become more trouble than he's worth, because he does sometimes turn into a clownish wrestling heel or villain where he just goes completely over the edge, as he did 2 years ago at Memphis. Game 1, he got tossed, and he does a whole victory lap completely around the whole arena, waving to the crowd. It's just clownish, and I don't think Steph and Clay and Steve Kerr love that. Goes back to his room, and he does his podcast almost the moment the game is over. He starts podcasting. He's become a very successful podcaster, maybe to a fault, while he's still playing basketball. And it was significant to me that when he did get suspended, Steve Kerr threw him under bus. For the first time ever, he did not defend Draymond because Steve Kerr said he took it too far. We're talking about the headlock. Draymond was wrong. He knows that. It's a bad look, and 5 games are deserved. And he went on to say, to your point, John, he said he hung on for 6 or 7 seconds. It was a terrible visual for the league, for Draymond, for everybody. And in the end, Steve Kerr said, Draymond has to find a way not to cross the line. And he says, I'm talking about crossing the line into a physical act of violence that's inexcusable. Again, you played in an era when physical acts of violence were the norm everybody did it.
Yeah, when men played, you know.
Okay.
Right now we have, guys not even old enough to shave. But this and Steve needs to say that, all right? It's a smart thing for Steve to say that. If he came out and said, I want him to choke anybody that comes, if he would have said exactly what he was feeling or what should happen, listen, you don't want to get punked in this league. This league is you don't want anybody to think you're soft. You want to always let them know it can be on and popping whenever you say so. And I think the guy is a 2-time Defensive Player of the Year. He's a 4-time All-Star, 4-time champion. This guy literally lays his life on the line. We talked about focus. You never see him lose focus in a game because he plays as if it's his last game.
Right. And back to that situation, I mean, Steve Kerr has to say the right things, as John said. There's no question about that. And at the end of the day, as I said, when the moment this incident happened, keep your hands to yourself. You don't grab an opponent's team. You don't grab an opponent. You grab your teammate. Hey, you want to break up a fight? Grab your guy, separate him from it. But at any time you think, hey, I'm going to grab the other team's guy, and that's how I'm going to de-escalate the situation, you have made a mistake. And everything else, all bets are off at that point. Because you have just escalated the situation. Because nobody knows your intentions in a situation that's already hostile.
And
we're having a hostile.
Don't forget, Richard Sherman is Draymond in football. Those nostrils get to flaring. He's Draymond.
I'm just calling a spade a spade. You don't want funk, then grab your guy.
Yeah, you're right.
It's a little different. It's not like Richard was the enforcer for the Legion of Boom.
I don't know.
No, that was Cam.
Yeah, that was Cam.
Yeah.
Okay, so Draymond has obviously, since he entered the league, been ejected more than anybody else in the league. Well, that all contributes to becoming the enforcer for your team. That's where you like the fact that he's sending messages, I won't take this, I won't take that, and I won't take that especially. And he gets ejected for it. But at some point, you have to be able to back up the ejections with your performance. Over the last 2 years, his performance has declined. And it started last year, which started with that flashpoint moment. He punched his teammate right in the jaw in a practice before the season started. I'm talking about Jordan Poole. And unfortunately, somebody leaked the video, unfortunately for Draymond, and we all got to see it. It felt like somebody wanted to do in Draymond from the inside out. I still don't know how the video got leaked, but it did, the practice video.
I think it was a great overhand right, and they traded Poole.
They did. They went that way. They decided to go that way. Somebody had to go, and they decided it was Jordan Poole.
But then you see what's happening to Poole in Washington. So maybe somebody on that squad who wanted to punch him, or maybe people had the problem with Poole the whole time. Just Draymond stepped up and once again took the arrows. Pioneers get the arrows, right? So he pioneered it. He did it. People said what they wanted to say. Punch him in his face. They got rid of Poole. They didn't get rid of Draymond because he is the energy, he is the heart of the squad.
All right, your thoughts, Richard?
No, I agree. I mean, I knew they would get rid of Poole in that situation. Draymond has been part of this, the heartbeat of this team in their championship runs, wins or losses. Even when they had Kevin Durant, before Kevin Durant, he's a building block of this organization. I think they have a lot of loyalty to him. I think part of this is who they drafted him to be. And regardless, until his play teeters all the way off, they're going to keep this guy and they're going to show loyalty. They have won championships since he's been a podcaster. They have won a championship, and he continues to do the things that his teammates require of him. It's not the glamorous work. It's not the fun work. It's the dirty, grimy work that nobody else wants to do, but they appreciate you doing. And so, I mean, I think it was the right decision, and I think it's working out for both sides. Obviously, Draymond's 5-game suspension. The Warriors' record right now could be better, but they're always dangerous regardless of what the record says.
Yeah, they've lost 8 of their last 10 now to fall to 8-10. But last night in the fourth quarter, even though I have the highest regard for Draymond's ability, because, John, I think you'd agree, he's got some basketball genius about him because he's not the most talented guy, but with his head and his wits and his high basketball IQ, it's almost like Rodman-esque a little bit, the way he plays defense and position rebounder, and he is the point, whatever he is for that team, point center, point forward, point guard sometimes. It runs through him. But he has to be able to back it up with productivity that lately he has not been able to produce. Like last night in the fourth quarter, he played 8 minutes and a half, and he registered 1 rebound and 2 fouls and 1 turnover and didn't score a point. No assists. So that's not good. He's got to be able to live up to being the enforcer in productivity. Would you not agree?
Well, this is the difference, okay? He is a complete basketball. He is from Michigan, too. So he has, like, I guess it's in the water. He got that bad boy attitude. Yeah. But the things that you don't see that always come up, that don't come up in the stats, is him denying somebody the basketball. The guy almost like a football player when a quarterback knows not to throw in that direction. He is on the court and he makes so much happen around him. And guys know you just can't run up on Draymond. You can't go by him. He's going to take a charge. He's going to stick his hand in. He's going to try to block a shot. He does things that don't always show up on the stats. Now, you talked about his productivity going down in the last 2 years. Well, he did get 2 years older, but the whole team's productivity has gone down. So it's not just him. He is part of the team.
Steph. Steph seems to be playing at a very high level still.
Well, he's getting stronger every year, too.
Does get stronger. Do you see any Dennis Rodman in Draymond?
Oh, yeah, I see a lot of Dennis Rodman. And what I mean by that is that we call Dennis Rodman big man, all right? He's only 6'7", but he would play the center. He would play the biggest person, the strongest person.
How?
Because it's just, one, I guess it's his height and that Tasmanian devil feeling inside of it. Like you said, Draymond, I think he's very talented because he's a complete basketball player, where they call him a small forward or a small, that small in-between height. I think he plays way bigger than most people would expect.
To me, it's leverage, it's angles, it's know-how, it's beating to spot, it's getting established before they get established in the post. He's got all that going, but all of a sudden the Warriors look like they are up against it.
But the Kings are better. The Kings are a better team than they've ever been.
Hey.
Closer than they've ever been.
Okay. So the Warriors had beaten the Kings in the regular season 10 of the last 11 times. Last night was pretty significant that they came all the way back from 24 down because it almost felt like it's our turn now. It's our time now.
And being 24 down, that should tell you it wasn't Draymond's fault. It didn't happen when but they were up 24. Yeah. Those guys all fell apart.
Yeah.
It wasn't just Draymond.
They seemed energized by his return in the first half and then down the stretch. Thanks for watching, Undisputed fans. Do you want more highlights from the show? Make sure to click that subscribe button for all the exclusive content from Undisputed.